Beloved soul, let me speak to you gently, because what is reaching you now was never meant to arrive by accident. There are no coincidences here. Of all the moments, of all the places your attention could have gone, something unseen guided you to this message at precisely this point in your life. Not because you were searching, but because your spirit was ready to remember. I was drawn to speak before confusion or heartache could take shape, before truth had to reach you through distance or loss. So hear this as something offered in care, not urgency. Your presence here is intentional. Your timing is exact. Heaven does not rush, and it does not miss. There has been a quiet stirring around you lately, a sense that something is shifting just beyond your sight. You may not have words for it yet, but your soul recognizes the signal. That subtle pull in your chest, that pause in your breath as these words land, that is not imagination, it is alignment. The unseen world has been leaning closer, arranging moments, softening resistance, waiting for you to listen without fear. Right now, the space between what you know and what is being revealed has grown thinner than usual. Not everything is meant to be shown at once. Some truths arrive as warmth before they arrive as clarity. This is one of those moments. If you continue listening, it will not be because of curiosity alone, but because something within you recognizes that a quiet transformation is already underway, and you are finally ready to meet it. But there is one detail about what is approaching that has not been spoken yet, and once you hear it, you will understand why this moment could not have come sooner. As your gaze rests on these words, something deep within you is already responding, because your soul recognized this moment before your mind ever caught up. There is a quiet unrest moving through you, the kind that comes when an old chapter is loosening its grip, but the new one has not fully spoken yet. And that ache you carry is not weakness, but evidence that a transformation has already been set in motion. You have been carrying questions without answers, emotions without closure, connections that felt unfinished. And the collective wound you share with so many others is the exhaustion of waiting, of sensing truth just out of reach while being asked to survive the silence. You feel it as a pressure in your chest, not painful, but insistent, like something knocking from the inside, reminding you that what is real cannot stay hidden forever. You may hear it as a subtle echo in your thoughts, a repetition you cannot silence, or notice it as fleeting images that brush past your inner vision, as if the unseen world is standing closer than usual, watching to see if you will finally look back. Take a breath. What is happening now is not a vague promise or a comforting idea offered to everyone. It is a specific spiritual process unfolding around you, one that began long before this moment and has been advancing quietly while you questioned yourself. You have not been overlooked, misplaced, or forgotten in the waiting. You were marked intentionally, and because of that, deception was never meant to be your resting place. Heaven does not abandon what it selects, and that is why clarity has been approaching even when confusion felt louder. This message did not arrive early or late. It arrived precisely when your heart could endure the truth without breaking. What comes next may feel uncomfortable to hear at first, not because it is heavy, but because it explains too much at once. Some people will stop listening right here, and later wonder why clarity almost reached them. Here is what shifts next. The one who occupies that sacred space in your soul, the connection that never fully released its hold on you, has been carrying words they could not bring themselves to speak. The truth hovered on their lips more than once, flickered through their eyes, filled the silence between you until it felt almost unbearable. But fear restrained them, pride distorted their timing, and circumstances gave them excuses to delay what their spirit already knew. Still, what is divinely sealed cannot be permanently suppressed. What was meant to surface will surface, because heaven does not negotiate with avoidance. Revelation has a way of arriving even when human courage fails, and it does so not to wound you, but to free you. The pain you and so many others share is the grief of unfinished truths, the torment of sensing love or meaning without confirmation. But hear this clearly: what approaches is not designed to punish or destabilize you. The unseen has been arranging a gentler unveiling, one that protects your heart rather than shatters it. You are not imagining this shift. You are not creating meaning where none exists. You are standing at the edge of something that has been moving toward you for longer than you realize, and the reason you can feel it so strongly now is because your soul has reached the point where it is ready to receive what has been waiting to be revealed. Beloved one, there is a cry moving through their spirit even now, not loud enough for the world to hear, but strong enough that heaven itself has taken notice, because what they have carried in silence has grown too heavy to remain hidden. They did not want you to learn their truth through distance, rumor, or the cold retelling of others. And that is why this unveiling has begun, not as an accident, but as an act of protection. The truth they hold is not simple, and it was never polished for easy sharing. You were not a passing feeling or a convenient attachment. You were the one their soul recognized long before they understood themselves. What has been concealed is not perfection but humanity, layered with regret, missed chances, and moments they wish they could reach back and hold differently. Yet beneath all of that, their love has burned quietly and consistently, a steady flame that refused to be extinguished even in the dark. What you interpreted as rejection was never a dismissal of you. What felt like absence was not a lack of care, and what appeared as indifference was the weight of unresolved shadows pressing them inward, keeping them from stepping forward. This shared pain you carry, the ache of loving without clarity, of sensing depth where words never arrived, is not a private failure, but a collective wound many endure when truth is delayed by fear. And now the light is no longer negotiable. Heaven is pressing gently but firmly, urging them to step out from hiding, to release what has been locked behind emotional doors for far too long, not to disrupt your peace, but to restore it. You may have already felt the echo of this shift within yourself, the restlessness that settles in your chest without explanation, the sudden memories that surface uninvited, the dreams that linger after waking, the strange pull towards something you cannot yet name. These are not coincidences or passing thoughts. They are threads being drawn tighter, signals that a process already initiated in the unseen is nearing a visible threshold. Now listen carefully. This is the part many people sense but rarely hear spoken clearly. Another confirmation is approaching, timed with intention, arriving within the coming days, 7 days from this moment, and it will cut through your doubt with precision. Truth does not always arrive loudly, but when it arrives on time, it rearranges everything it touches. It may come as a song that mirrors the words you never spoke aloud, a sentence from a stranger that lands with impossible accuracy, an unexpected message, an encounter or even a fleeting image that feels too exact to ignore. When it appears, your mind may hesitate, but your spirit will know, because recognition happens faster than logic. This is not meant to destabilize you, but to anchor you, to remind you that you were never imagining the depth of this connection or the movement surrounding it. The truth approaching you is not designed to fracture your heart, but to heal it, not to humble you, but to free you, and you are being asked to let this knowing settle into you without resistance. You are chosen, and what is unfolding has been arranged not for your breaking, but for your restoration. Now, allow yourself to see from their side for just a moment, not with judgment, but with clarity, and notice the long nights where silence pressed in so tightly that even breathing felt loud, where their hand hovered over their phone as messages were written with trembling honesty and erased out of fear, where your name rose uninvited in their thoughts and tears burned behind their eyes because they could not allow themselves the release of falling apart. See the prayers they almost voiced, the ones whispered inwardly because saying them aloud would make the truth too real. Prayers asking heaven if time had already stolen something sacred, if they had damaged what mattered beyond repair, if love could survive their hesitation. Pause here and feel the weight of how much has gone unspoken, how much longing has been restrained, how many moments were swallowed by fear even as the heart kept reaching forward. They are not as far away as your pain has led you to believe, not disconnected, not indifferent, because their spirit has been moving around yours in quiet orbit, restless and aching, like a bird suspended in the air, longing to land yet trembling at the risk of the fall. Heaven has witnessed every silent struggle, every withheld word, every almost step taken toward you, and none of it has gone unnoticed or unloved. And now, as the unseen shifts, the distance that once felt permanent is being gently but decisively closed, not by force but by divine insistence, because this is not a season meant for despair or self-blame or believing the lie that you were left behind. This is the season where what was concealed can no longer remain in the dark, where truth begins to surface, not as a wound, but as a balm, where what felt nearly lost is invited back into wholeness, and what was injured is given the space to breathe and heal. Heaven has not waited idly during the silence. Your heart has been quietly prepared, your spirit strengthened in ways you may not yet recognize, positioned so that when clarity arrives, it does not crush you, but steadies you, lifting you into understanding rather than confusion. You have not been walking alone through this ache, even when it felt isolating and unfair, because divine love has been carrying you through the pauses, guarding what is sacred, guiding each step with intention that extends beyond what you can see. Every delay served a purpose greater than frustration. Every silence held meaning beyond neglect. Every unanswered question was kept in trust until the moment it could be revealed without harming you. Understand this now. It arrives to free you, to dissolve the fog that blurred your vision, to allow you to see the truth through heaven's eyes rather than through fear's distortion. Love does not end simply because shadows linger, and what is ordained cannot be stolen by hesitation or doubt. The voice of fear wanted you to believe you were forgotten, wanted silence to feel like rejection, wanted delays to look like denial. But heaven is speaking clearly over your life now, declaring that none of those stories were true. You were chosen when the waiting began. You are chosen in this moment of unfolding, and you will remain chosen beyond whatever comes next. The truth rising now is not meant to undo you, but to untangle you, and the love that has remained unspoken has not disappeared, only waited for the moment heaven appointed. Here is the turning point you have been sensing but could not name, where the weight you carried begins to shift into clarity, and the ache of not knowing starts to loosen its grip as confirmation approaches with such precision and tenderness that doubt will have no place left to hide. Breathe deeply and let your heart soften rather than brace itself. Let your spirit receive what it has been quietly prepared to hold, because this is not the end of your endurance, but the beginning of your restoration. You are chosen, the truth is rising, what was hidden is being revealed, and this unveiling exists for your healing, your strengthening, and your return to peace. Because heaven does not waste pain, does not allow silence to last forever, does not overlook what is sacred, and never forgets the one it has chosen. There is something else you need to understand now, something that speaks directly to the quiet strength you have been carrying without recognition, because long before this moment of stirring, you were already doing the unseen work that made it possible. You endured what others never noticed, held your integrity when it would have been easier to harden, chose restraint when your heart wanted to speak, and kept showing up inwardly even when nothing on the surface changed. And that silent perseverance is the shared ache of so many who listen now, the feeling of giving, waiting, believing, and wondering if any of it mattered. It did matter. Heaven has been recording what no one applauded, and the shift approaching you is not sudden or random. It is the result of seeds planted in seasons when you felt unseen and unsupported. Pause here and let yourself feel the weight lift slightly as you realize that nothing you carried with sincerity was wasted, nothing you protected in silence was forgotten, and nothing you nurtured quietly failed to take root. There is a pattern heaven follows, one that moves slowly enough to refine the heart, but precisely enough to arrive on time. And you are standing inside that pattern now. Think of the story of Joseph, not as a distant tale but as a mirror. How years of obscurity, misunderstanding, and confinement were not detours but preparation. How what looked like delay was actually alignment, and how the revealing came only when the vessel was strong enough to hold the authority that followed. What matters now is not the story itself, but what it quietly mirrors about your timing. Your life has been moving in a similar rhythm, though the details are uniquely yours. And the reason this moment feels charged is because the internal work has reached completion. This next phase is not about striving harder or proving anything. It is about allowing what has already been authorized in the unseen to cross into the visible. And this is where the shift becomes unmistakable. The emotions surfacing now, the clarity that arrives in fragments, the sense that something is lining up without you forcing it. These are confirmations that the harvest is beginning to respond to the seeds you once planted without guarantees. You are not behind. You are not catching up. You are stepping into timing. Transitioning from endurance into embodiment, you are being asked to trust that what unfolds next will not require you to abandon who you became in the waiting, but will instead honor it. Because the tenderness you protected and the faith you guarded are exactly what qualify you for what is coming. There will be moments ahead that feel almost ordinary on the surface, yet carry unusual weight. Conversations that linger longer than expected, realizations that settle instead of excite, and choices that feel clear rather than urgent. And these will be the markers of alignment rather than coincidence. You are not being rushed toward revelation. You are being ushered toward recognition, where you finally see how every quiet yes, every unseen stand, every patient refusal to harden your heart contributed to the movement now approaching you. Stay present with this knowing. Let it steady you rather than overwhelm you. What is unfolding does not demand more effort from you, only your willingness to receive what you already prepared for, because the season ahead is not about proving your worth, but about witnessing how carefully heaven has been arranging your restoration all along. As this message settles into you, there is an invitation unfolding that asks for nothing dramatic or performative, only a quiet willingness to let your outer life soften enough to match what has already begun within. You do not need to rush or rearrange everything all at once, and you do not need to prove your readiness through effort or discipline, because what is moving toward you is not waiting for perfection, only for space. Begin by noticing where your inner world still clings to an old story that once protected you but now feels heavy. A belief about yourself, about love, about timing, that no longer fits who you are becoming, and allow yourself to loosen your grip on it without forcing a replacement. In the same gentle way, let your physical surroundings reflect this openness, not through dramatic change but through small acts of care, clearing a surface that has held clutter for too long, opening a window, creating a corner that feels calm enough to breathe in, because space on the outside helps the nervous system recognize that something new is welcome. You may feel drawn to write, not to demand answers, but simply to acknowledge what you sense is approaching, letting words rest on paper as witnesses rather than requests. Or you may notice repeating signs in your daily rhythm, phrases that echo, symbols that return, moments that pause you mid-step, and instead of analyzing them, simply register them with presence. This preparation is not a test, and it is not a transaction. It is alignment, a way of saying yes with your posture rather than your will. There will be days when you feel deeply connected to this unfolding, and days when it feels distant or abstract, and both are allowed, because readiness is not a constant state but a direction of travel. When uncertainty rises, meet it with steadiness rather than correction, reminding yourself that you are not late and you are not missing anything, and that what has begun does not require your constant attention to continue. Stay attentive in ordinary moments, in conversations, in pauses, in choices that feel subtly different than they once did, and trust that when a clear invitation appears, you will recognize it without needing to be pushed. All that is being asked of you now is to remain present, to make room where you can, and to let your life become just a little less crowded by fear than it was before, because that small shift is enough to allow what has already been set in motion to find its way into form. What you have felt while listening was not imagined, not self-created, not a passing emotional wave, and it deserves to be honored as something real and meaningful. The quiet recognition in your chest, the moments where your breath slowed without effort, the sense that certain words landed closer than others, all of that was your inner knowing responding to something already in motion. What has been spoken here does not need to be chased, repeated, or controlled, because it has already been received, recorded, and set into motion beyond what the eye can track. Nothing more is required from you to make it work. Nothing needs to be forced to make it arrive. The unseen does not forget what has been acknowledged, and what has been stirred will continue its work even as you return to ordinary moments. If you are still here at this point, it is because something in you recognized that this message was not passing through randomly, but resting where it belonged, and that recognition is enough. This is not a closing of a story, but a crossing, a quiet threshold where what has long been forming beneath the surface begins to find its own timing and shape. As it is written, the steps of a good man are ordered, and ordering does not announce itself loudly, it simply unfolds. You do not need to watch for signs or strain for certainty. What is next will reveal itself gently, layer by layer, as you are ready to hold it. For now, let this moment seal what has already begun and carry yourself forward with softness and awareness. There is more ahead, and it will meet you in its own time. Rest in that and move on in peace. Before we close this moment, there is one more thing your heart needs to be held inside of. Let us enter this moment of prayer together, gently and without haste, allowing our hearts to become still in the presence of God. Faithful God, we come before you not in fear or desperation, but in quiet recognition of your nearness and your careful hand at work, thanking you for the way you have guided each soul listening now through seasons they did not fully understand, for the protection they felt without seeing, for the strength that carried them when words failed and answers delayed. We thank you for the unseen arrangements already set in motion, for the conversations held in heaven before they ever reached the earth, for the love you guarded even in silence, and for the seeds of obedience, tenderness, and faith that were planted during long nights when no one else was watching. You saw every moment of restraint, every silent choice to trust rather than harden, every act of faith that felt small but was heavy with meaning. And we honor you for being a God who does not overlook what is done in secret. We place before you now this sacred transition unfolding, asking not for signs or timelines, but for the peace that steadies the heart, the clarity that quiets confusion, and the courage to remain open as truth rises gently into view. Where there has been weariness from waiting, breathe renewal. Where there has been doubt shaped by silence, release understanding. Where there has been fear of being disappointed again, pour a deeper trust that rests not in outcomes, but in your character. Prepare each listener to walk forward without striving, to receive without self-protection, and to recognize your guidance in ordinary moments as much as in extraordinary ones. We thank you that you are a God who goes before, who clears paths we cannot yet see, who speaks in whispers strong enough to move destiny, and who promises, as it is written, that you are doing a new thing. Now it springs forth, even when we do not yet perceive it. We surrender the need to control how this unfolding takes shape and place our confidence instead in your perfect timing and wisdom, trusting that what you have begun, you will carry forward with care. Seal this message in peace, anchor it in truth, and allow it to bear fruit gently in the days ahead, so that each life touched here may move forward with steadiness, humility, and hope, knowing they are accompanied and upheld. We offer this prayer as an act of gratitude, alignment, and trust, and we rest it fully in your hands. And now, thank you for praying in this space, for lending your heart to this sacred moment, and for allowing yourself to be present. You are not alone on this path, and as you return to your day, may you carry this stillness and assurance with you until we meet again in peace. If you feel safe enough, you are gently invited to leave a few words in the comments, not because anyone demands them, but because there is power in allowing what has lived quietly inside you to finally breathe. You may write a hope you have been carrying, a pain you rarely name, a confusion you do not yet understand, a fear you have learned to hide, or even a prayer without perfect words. And know that what is shared in sincerity is seen by God long before it is read by human eyes. Nothing offered from the heart is dismissed or forgotten, and no prayer rises unheard. In this space, you are not exposing weakness. You are allowing light to meet truth, and that is where healing begins. As you write, you are not alone, even if it feels that way in your life right now, because love is already moving toward you, surrounding you, and carrying you forward. If this message resonated, you may also gently support this space by liking, sharing, or subscribing, so others who are searching quietly can find their way here too. May peace remain with you as you take that next small step.